Right, we'll try again. Is that working? Is that working, guys? Let me know. I think it must be now. Is it working now? Can anyone hear? Yes? Oh, good. I've just literally talked for so long without any sound. Oh, I'm just going to have to start again. Oh, I don't even know whether I can, guys. No, I will. I will start again. I will start again. Okay. We can do hard things. I'm going to start again. You've missed everything I've said. Look at you all trying to tell me as well. Thank you so much. Okay, so ChatGPT, Substack, guilt, where we all are with AI. This is what we're speaking about. We're all going to speak about this. So, what I was trying to talk about with you guys was to take it into a bit of a journey as to where I've been with ChatGPT. So the first story I was telling you was about the fact that my husband is an early adopter. He's the one that told me 3 years ago to get on Substack. He's the one that's been using ChatGPT for ages. The first thing he used it for was for a kit list on a retreat. So he was doing a woodland wild camping retreat over 3 days, and he wanted to make a kit list for his participants, and he asked ChatGPT, and he showed me it, and I went, oh. And until that point, I'd been like, no, I don't think we're doing this. I don't think we're using AI. Like, nobody really likes it. We're not sure about it. It's going to take over the world. All the things that I'd been hearing and feeling in fear. Whereas actually, what was possible and what was really magical is that saved him so much time. My husband has chronic fatigue, so he was delivering and committed to do this retreat. But obviously, we were trying to save his spoons in terms of energy and what we could do together as a couple. So we also asked it to make us a shopping list based on a menu that it came up with. We also asked it to plan the activities for the day. He had a rough outline of this, so we gave it the rough outline and then it planned the activities, and then he had that to work from, which was really beautiful. We were then able to take that same information once the retreat was delivered, give it all back to ChatGPT, say what had gone well and what needed improvement, and then ask it about future retreats, pricing, early bird, sales framework, emails, all of that sort of stuff. And it was at that point a couple of years ago where I was like, this is really amazing technology. Like, it wasn't like a little bit good, it was really, really strong. And of course, with those emails and with that web page and with that framework, it had to have Dave's human element plugged in, and it had to have my thought and care plugged in as well. But it did give us basically a team for that retreat, and it was just me in the background and then Dave delivering the thing on his own. I was at home with the kids. So for the first time, I saw it as another tool. If you are a solopreneur and you're not working with a team, or maybe you work with a part-time VA, to just try and build capacity for your own brain. So when I think about the mother load and any sort of life admin load that we have, I think that where we've got to in society is a really dangerous place. So, for example, at my daughter's school, I'm supposed to log onto a system every week that then sends me a passcode to my phone, put the passcode in, and then choose her meals from a list of 4 different meals 5 days a week for our school dinner. Obviously, when I was at school, that just happened. Nobody chose anything. I would have had a relationship with the dinner lady, like that would have all been fine, it would have all worked. The system then was, and this might sound grim, but the system was anything left over went to feed the local pigs. Like, that's what happened. I don't know what happens now. Like, I haven't massively looked into it, but what I do know is that they're giving me admin to do every single week of my life, and I don't want more admin to do every single week of my life. I also have to log into a separate system and screenshot the payments that the government make in partnership with me and give it to them. Even though they have had the payments into their account, I have to log into that system, get the text message, put the code in, screenshot the thing and email it. There's no way I can give either of those tasks to ChatGPT, but can you see, we've gone from admin being relatively straightforward and systems feeling easier, where we've got human to human contact, for example, telephoning the doctors and asking for something. You're not allowed to do that now. You've got to go online and fill in a form. So the form will say, if I'm doing it on behalf of my son or my daughter who are 4 and 10, have either of them had a gambling problem? I've got to answer every single time I want to take one of them to the doctors if either of them have got a gambling problem. Is that a good use of my time and brain space? No, it is not. So you can see why all of these different things compound, and you're just like, how am I going to do all of this? How am I going to do building my business, writing my Substack, doing all the life admin of the home, of the car? We've got a camper van as well. You know, all of the things. It's like it's never ending. And then if your life is full of admin, when do you get time for well-being? When do you get time for creativity? When do you get time for anything? It's always this constant to-do list trying to burn us out in the background. So, given that life is like that and it's not changing, and there is so much to do, obviously one of the things that I do is cut down the influences. So, you guys know I don't watch the news, I don't listen to the news, I don't have any news in my ether. You still pick up bits. People will make sure that you know certain things, but mainly, you know, that's been over 5 years now, and it has had a massive impact on my creativity because, on a vibrational level, I am in a really high vibration most of the time. You know, I'm in my garden, I'm in my cottage, I'm writing on Substack. It's a lovely, positive place to be. Whereas with all of the kind of narrative around AI, it's been really negative and it's been really fear driven. And I think we've got to be really conscious of that and really kind of get to a position where we understand these different narratives are driven by an external force and people in power. So we have to do our own research. For example, me and my husband have worm hotels as composting systems at home. He did all the research, thanks Hyperfocus. And he did all the research on that, and that's really beautiful. And that's a thing that we can do to offset our environmental impact. We also have looked over the years at how to take our home plastic free, room by room. And I'm not saying this to virtue signal in any way, I'm just saying it to show you how responsible we all can be as individuals in terms of our own environment and what is going on, both from the sensory input, social media, all of that stuff. Like, we've got more control than we think on a hyper local level for sure. And I think the pandemic proved that to lots of us, and that it can be really beautiful. That said, there are some concerns about ChatGPT and other AI tools in terms of environmental influence. I'm going to put a link to an article that I read that is really brilliant around this and equates taking a European flight with, just to give you that comparison around, if you take a European flight or you don't, this is how many times you could use ChatGPT in a lifetime, times something like 36,000 or something. I don't remember the figures, but I'll put the article below. So there are lots of things to consider, but given that we have Wi-Fi and we have it switched on probably a lot longer than we need and should do, and everything else that we're trying to do as individual humans, I think that we have to be really conscious of the fact that AI, the agenda around AI is being pushed on us in terms of it's terrible for the environment, we're losing our humanity, all of that stuff. Maybe some of that stuff's true, guys, but on an individual level, in terms of systems that you can use it to help you with, and really conscious ways into using those systems to help you with the mental load and to help you to be a better human. You know, I could ask it about recycling, it would know. Anyway, so there's lots of nuance in it, and I do suggest that you do your own research. But I think that for me, once I'd understood what it could do and how it could help Dave, given that he had very little spoons left in terms of energy to deliver any sort of work, it really opened it up to me in terms of what might be possible with it. And I didn't do much with it for a while. But then I did, and this is really embarrassing. Like, I am going to be really vulnerable and embarrassed here because I just feel like that is like the human level of what we are grappling with this. So I had a young baby, I'd missed a deadline. I thought that I had an extra month to submit this article for a print magazine. And the email came in, just check in, it's deadline day, is your article ready? And I was like, oh no, I thought it was next month. No, it's today. So I had two options, right? Not write it, because there was no way that I could have researched and written that article that day, or take a breather, speak to my husband, which is what I did. And then he said, have you tried ChatGPT to write this article? And I was like, I couldn't. And he was like, you could try. And I was like, well, I could try. I could try to work with it to understand if it's possible to get this article written. And he was like, I'll give you an hour. So he had the baby. I was breastfeeding at the time, so it was like very intense times and stuff. So I went onto ChatGPT and I gave it the facts that I needed to weave into this article, and I told it, you know, it needed to be 800 words, I think it was at the time. I gave it the artist names that I wanted to weave in, and I told it what those artists did in the world, and then I asked it to write the article for me. Now, I was never going to submit that article, but because I was in that mode of like, I haven't got time to research it, I haven't got time to write it, I've missed this opportunity, I did that. And then what it spat out was really good. You know, I'm not a journalist, but it was written like a journalist would write it. So then I thought, okay, I'm not going to send that. That was never the plan. But what I can do is put it into a Word document, edit it so that it is in my tone and not in a sort of tone of the entire internet, and then read it again, give it to my husband to read, ask what he thinks. And so I did that. It took about 40 minutes. So in that time, I was fact checking, making sure that it had the right, I mean, I knew that artist anyway, but just making sure that it had the right information for that. And then I was making sure, obviously, it was the right length. And then I was editing it, so rewriting it. And it was gorgeous. And by the end, I was really proud of it. That wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have used ChatGPT, because I had no decision making capacity, I had no research time. I was in that place of going, what do I do? So I sent the article over, and my plan was to tell her what I'd done, right? Because you always want to be honest and like work from a place of integrity. But I didn't, because I was embarrassed because of the way everybody makes you feel about using AI. So I didn't tell her. So then she came back and she was like, I really love it, Claire. It's amazing. Like, thank you so much for doing this. Bearing in mind, I wasn't being paid. So this wasn't paid work. This was a volunteer thing. So she loved it. And then I told her and I said, look, because I was running out of time, I've used ChatGPT to research this, and I gave it the framework for what I wanted. I gave it the headings, I gave it the word count, but just so you know, that's how I was able to turn this around, because I didn't want her thinking I was like some sort of superhuman that was able to just turn something round like that. Like, I'm definitely not a professional journalist, so I wanted to be really upfront about it. But the time in between her coming back and me having sent it, I felt sick. Like, I felt awful. I was like, that's all happened really quickly. I don't really know what I've done. And I'm telling you this because that is possible, because humans love to like game the system, get ahead, do things that are like a bit exciting, right? That are a bit risky. Like, we just do. And like, even me, with all my integrity and all of the way that I feel about my own creative practice, I still did that, right? I was under pressure and I did that. And it was so interesting to me in terms of like unpicking that behavior in myself, because I was like, oh, I did that because I can do that. And that's the interesting thing. So I think this is some of the fallout, because if you don't have your integrity with the way that you want to use AI, or what AI is possible, like what it can do for you, then maybe that little devil sits on your shoulder and is like, you could just use ChatGPT to write this week's newsletter and just schedule it. You know, those things will happen. That's part of the human and AI debate, right? Because it is so sophisticated and clever. And yes, me and Dave can spot an AI written article on Substack for sure, because we've used it for so long. So to us, it's really obvious. So you might have seen some notes flying around saying, oh, you know, the M dash, it's so obvious, it's ChatGPT. And then I saw a lot of people not using the M dash anymore in their notes, but for sure people were using it to program notes and say, give me 10 different notes based on this article that I've written to sort of, push out on Substack notes. For sure people were doing that. And it's fine in a way, isn't it? Because AI is driven by human behavior and human writing, and then on notes is driven by an algorithm. Sometimes that algorithm seems human, other times it seems AI-ish. Like, nobody really knows what's going on. So I think it is very blurred, and I think we all have to have our moral compass with that sort of stuff. The bit that I found most difficult about AI is the fact that people have taken my work and programmed it into AI. And when I found that out, felt physically sick. Like, that's not what that was written for. So that felt really hard. And also, it made me feel like I have to protect like my voice. It felt like they were trying to take my voice. And this is what is unique to us, right? So the way that we write is the way that we write. The way that we speak is the way that we speak, which is why I'm very happy to come on a Substack Live. Like, it's fine. Like, this is me. It's the same person writing an article to you. It's the same person writing the courses. Like, it's me. So I don't need to hide behind anything. Like, I can just come and I can just be here. But if other people want to take my research over 3 years of being on Substack, and like everything that I've learned in that time, a lot of it is very nuanced. A lot of it is based on experiments, and then give it to an AI bot and tell the AI bot, like, this is how to use Substack. This is how to grow on Substack. This is how to monetize on Substack. That just feels really rough. And it's not just me it's happened to, but in all of that, that was the first time where I was like, oh, humans are going to human, actually. So like, I had that kind of moral dilemma with the article when it was under pressure. Like, in a way, it would have been better to miss that opportunity but I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to miss the opportunity because it could have been like really, really good for the project that I was working on. It was like a community project that I wanted to have highlighted. So that's why I wanted to do it. It wasn't me and like my work, it was for somebody else, and for them to sort of be seen in a beautiful light. So it was like one step removed. But yeah, so the darker side of it is that it is hard, because if you have a unique tone of voice, people can lift from that and program it into their AIs and tell their AI, okay, like follow Claire's plan, do all of this sort of stuff. Like, anything's possible with it. So I do think that is really hard, and it's really hard for artists and writers and creators to navigate their personal IP, and then the way that they can like trademark things. I'm not massively into trademarking for lots of different reasons. I'll do another call about that. But I think in some ways it's like, well, what protection have we got? Like, how do we manage all of this stuff? So I do think it's really interesting to consider and give headspace to. And so what I've done now is I'm much more conscious about what is open source. So on my Substack publication, everything goes behind a paywall after 4 weeks now. So even if a post goes out and it's part free and part paywalled, that's conscious, right? So that's like, if this was given to AI, how would I feel about it? I've had to bring that extra layer into my work because of what's happened. I've had to, because otherwise I just feel like I leave myself completely open to people like lifting and programming AI, and I don't want that, because the work that I've done in the last 3 years of being on Substack has been early mornings, late nights, weekends, like lots and lots and lots and lots of hours of doing what I do. Like, and I don't want somebody else to just take that and profit off it. So that's what I've done, rightly or wrongly, because I'm usually all about abundance. But in this case, I was like, I have to do something to feel protected. So that's what I've done. Okay, I'm going to get to your questions, and then I'm going to talk more about how AI makes us feel, how chat makes us feel. And then I've got a little surprise for you if you want to stay till the end. I'd love you to stay till the end. If not, you can watch the replay. Okay. All right, Sarah's saying here, so created a meal plan this morning that took into account all our dietary needs, the meals we need to have together in the next week, and separately where I shop and our general likes, etc. Then a shopping list so someone can do the shop, and it took me 5 minutes max. Yeah, so good. So stuff like that. And then Danusia's article on redistribution of household tasks and loads is also brilliant, because she breaks it down and says, ask ChatGPT or whichever AI you use to ask these questions one by one, and then that way it gets a more measured response of who you all are. So that's really helpful to do. Okay, nothing below that, because so Sophie's saying, I feed it all my tasks or outstanding jobs and ask it to prioritize them for me. It helps me because I'm a neurodivergent person. Yeah, so definitely in terms of our family and being able to have a list for packing to go on holiday, that is an amazing use of its minutes. And then obviously we just get that list and we can work that through. I actually set it up in a little Notion template so that I can have that every time. And it's things like, I have bought multiple UK to European chargers at the airport and felt guilty every time because I know there's a box of them somewhere in the house. And so then having that list in Notion has made me realise, Claire, just leave them in the suitcases. Like, why are you putting them away every time? So it's weird, because sometimes it's like you sort of need the list to remind you that there are other systems and other ways to do things that make a lot more sense. Louise says, I'm using AI to guide me through self-launching my book, self-publishing, I think she's saying the steps, and to outline courses and give title suggestions. Yeah, so in terms of creativity, what I used to do was have a big A3 piece of paper, and I would start with the word of the thing that I wanted to name, and then I would draw out loads of different mind maps and try and work out, okay, like, how does this fit together? What's the clarity piece? Like, how does all that work? So if I have time, I still do that. But if not, I give the same prompt to ChatGPT and I say, give me 30 different names for this. This is what it's going to do. This is how it's going to help people. And then I get the 30 different names. Then I tell it, okay, I like this one, and this one. So, and then it goes, great. Okay, you like these three. How about these? How about this as a strap line? So it does suggest lots of cool stuff. I don't think I was recording when I was telling you about tricky relationships and how I manage those. So I've got quite a difficult relationship going on in my business at the moment between my bookkeeper and my accountant. They've got very different communication styles. And they basically had to stop them from emailing each other because the bookkeeper charges by the hour and the accountant, it's like a set package. So it was meaning that every time they were getting into the weeds of things and I was being copied in, I would just see like a 10 email thread before I'd even got chance to like answer what if it was something that I could answer. So I asked it and I pasted a couple of the emails as examples how to better manage that relationship. I don't like managing people. Like, it's never been my favorite. In any of the jobs that I've had, I found it really difficult to do because everybody works in such different ways. So some people would want a task list to work through. Other people are more good at like self-starting. If you are working with someone and there's a specific piece of expertise that they've got but you haven't, that's really difficult as a business owner because you're used to figuring everything out yourself. And so if you have to hand it over, there's also this like weird control dynamic where it's like, I have to trust that you're doing the right thing for me and my business, but I don't know that because I don't actually understand what it is that you're talking about. Anyway, so I have in the past then copied and pasted from ChatGPT back to my accountant and said, I've had a conversation with ChatGPT about what you've said about this specific thing that I don't understand. This is what it's given me. Can you confirm this is correct and this is what you mean? Now, that will, by no doubt, make his communication better with me because at the moment I'm just like lost. And so being able to confirm and say, is this legal? Is this right? Is this what you're asking me to do? Is this what you're advising me? And have ChatGPT to say, yeah, this is exactly it, and this is what he means, and this is the tick list of things you need to be working through. It's been amazing. I don't know honestly what I would have done. I've had a lot of tears over this relationship. It's not easy at all. Okay. Yeah, so Janice is saying, thanks for mentioning my piece. I'm going to put it in the replay as well. So if you guys are watching on replay, Anita's saying, question, what do you think about Substack authors who are saying, I won't, it's so hard to read. I won't read anything written by anyone who used Substack for anything. Yeah, I think she means, should we add a notice to anything we write? Say, I use ChatGPT to sub-edit my work or give me headlines. Okay, so like I said, me and my husband can tell if something's been written by ChatGPT because we are early adopters of ChatGPT. So we've not used any other AIs, but I imagine they all work similarly. So it's like that thing of like, you have a digital language that builds up over time. So, for example, when we hadn't seen very much of Canva templates on Instagram, you would find people messaging each other all the time being like, oh, how did you create that? Like, is that an Adobe thing? Oh, no, it's Canva. And now we all know, okay, you can use Canva and you can create really beautiful templates and stuff. So I think people are just building up their understanding of when they are seeing something that's been produced by AI. In terms of using it as an editor, I don't think there would be any way that you would be able to tell or need to say, because that's like saying, oh, I worked with an editor. Like, you can absolutely do that and credit that person if it's a person. But if AI is part of your creative practice because you are a human in the world that feels like you need that for whatever reason, like, I just feel like, well, that's fine, isn't it? I don't use it for editing personally because I don't need to. So I like to edit my own work. I like to stay like plugged into that vibration. What I do use it for is like the systems and the lists and the difficult conversations and things like that. Sometimes when I've had a bit of writer's block, I will say, I'm trying to write about this and I'm really stuck. Can you give me 5 ways to start? And then that usually is enough to get me through. Sometimes that's to do with being tired. Sometimes that's to do with being hormonal. Sometimes that's to do with feeling like imposter syndrome, or just like, actually, I don't know if anybody cares what I've got to write about this topic. So I think being the human in it all always is what we can do. I would say in a moral compass situation, if you are feeling strange in any way, shape, or form about the way that you are using AI to support you in your business, to support you in your work, to support you in your creativity, stick a footnote on, because we're in this strange place of elitism around not using AI. Oh, well, I didn't use AI. And it's like, great guys, but like, if elitism doesn't exist in your values, you haven't, it's because, like me, you haven't had the same privileges growing up as the people who are elitist, right? That's how they get to be elitist. So I can't really be bothered. I'm just like, no, like, we are humans alive at this time with various different creative tools, with all of the different admin being asked of us, and all of the different pressure that we've got, and all of the different pressure around even just being able to take a flight abroad. Like, is that allowed? Like, that's going to ruin my children's future. Like, that's really heavy, guys. So at the end of the day, if you want to use something that helps you to be a better creative human and to heal people in the way that you were healing people with your words, and to connect to people in communities and to do whatever it is that you want to do in the world, then I just think that's up to you. I do, honestly. I just think, I don't know when people expected us to be able to have 5 full-time jobs. You know, the vehicle admin, the house admin, the life admin, the kids admin. If you've got kids in 2 different schools, good luck, because you've already got 5 emails before lunchtime. Like, nobody can do that much without burning out. And if we don't want to burn out, and we want to utilize the internet for good, I think that we do have to have a bit of a kind of standpoint on where we stand with AI, and we do have to be curious and open to what we want and what we think, and kind of forget what anybody else is doing for a while. You know, don't be influenced by me. You might have your own kind of compass in that and just feel like, oh, it doesn't feel quite right for whatever reason. So I've talked about people programming my work into AI and how that felt. I've talked about using it for systems and all of that sort of stuff, and the way that it can churn out stuff really quickly. In terms of Substack and like where we are with Substack, I would love to hear from you guys, like how you're feeling in terms of this push pull. Like, are there any areas within your Substack that you feel like you have asked AI, or you want to ask AI? Maybe you've spoken to like a Substack's AI bot who is very helpful and very friendly, but also incorrect a lot. Maybe you've got some thoughts and you want to ask me about that. I would love to help you with that. I find that AI, my AI, ChatGPT, doesn't know enough about Substack, for various different reasons, probably because it's a new platform, but it also has given quite a lot of wrong information to people, and then they'll ask in my members chat, they're like, oh, is this right? Like, this is what I got from ChatGPT. And I'm like, oh no, it doesn't work like that. Like, Substack doesn't have that model, or Substack doesn't look after that like that, or whatever it is. So yeah, let me know what is coming up for you guys. The other thing that I wanted to say is around how lovely AI is to us as humans. So it wants, obviously this is manipulative, like bear with me on this, but it is manipulative. It wants us to keep coming back. It wants us to keep asking it for things. It wants to get better at searching the internet, at being the chosen tool of choice. So in the last month or so, it asked if I wanted to use it as my default search on the internet. And I mistakenly pressed yes to that and was like, oh, where's Google gone? However, I've found myself probably now, sorry about the dogs, not my dogs, using ChatGPT probably 50% of the time and Google 50% of the time, and that wasn't happening before. That's literally because it's a plugin. And so that would be things like, let me look actually what I've used it for, and I can just tell you, because I think that's probably more helpful. Oh, okay, so I just used it to find the Slack invite link that doesn't expire, because every time I go on Slack, I am lost and I get the wrong link for my members, which is a link that expires, and I wanted a link that doesn't expire. And I asked it to give me a step-by-step plan of how to do that. I asked it for time conversion for calls that are for my mini mind in Australia, Canada, and the US, and it gave me that in a table. I asked it for help with how to speak to somebody at Vodafone, which is the company that provides our internet and our mobile phones. I asked it something about SiteGround, which is where I host my website, because I was trying to do a plugin on Google. I asked it to look over my self-worth and creativity workshop plan. So I wrote the workshop plan, and then I asked ChatGPT to look over it. Again, that was a timing thing and a confidence thing. I just wanted like an extra opinion. It's not an opinion, it's AI, but that's what I did. What else is here? Or Substack thumbnail dimensions. So I've got these in my course, I've got these in my membership, but I tell you what is a faster way to find them. Ask ChatGPT and it just pulls up the article. I could Google it. Google would be quite good on that as well, but that's what I've done there. Yeah, so I think that's probably, oh yeah, and I can never find, I mentioned it already, but I can never find that childcare link in my bookmarks. So I ask it and it pulls it up straight away, the link that I need to log in to screenshot for my daughter's school. So that's on there as well. So there's loads of stuff. The thing that I have loved using it for Substack, so you're going to love this, lean in guys, is that when you have an image that you love, so say if a photograph that you've taken in a place that you really love, by the beach or on holiday or something like that, you can upload that photo to ChatGPT and ask it for all the hex codes of the colors on that photo. I just love that so much. It knows the hex colors, so the codes for the colors. So previously I'd been using this tool called Color Pick Eyedropper as a Google Chrome plugin, which is really good, but it still is step by step. I would have to like pick all of those colors and like make a note of the hex codes, whereas ChatGPT, it just gives you all of the hex codes of the image. So if you wanted to then choose like a red umbrella and the specific color code of that red umbrella and tell Substack that you want that as the accent color, you could do it. And then that could be on your welcome page and you would have all your lovely branding. So it's really beautiful. Like, I think that is a gorgeous, gorgeous way to use it. I've also, and you guys, if you're in my membership, you'll know this, but I have given it my about page on Substack and said, tell me about my ideal reader. It's beautiful what it says in return. Bearing in mind it is programmed to butter us up, but I love that. I'm like, oh, thanks very much, ChatGPT. It's always so complimentary to me. So this is a beautiful about page, Claire. Well done. I'm like, thanks very much. And then it'll say your ideal reader is this, 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 and this. This is what I've gleaned from you plugging this information in. Now, how that helps me is to stay really connected to the people that want to read Sparkle on Substack. And I have a much more nuanced system for understanding who wants to read that publication. I actually have 4 different types of reader and paid subscriber. And there's loads of that in my mini mind. If you guys are going to come and join my mini mind next month, you'll get all of this system. But it can be super helpful just as that reminder that you as a human voice stand out on the internet, and you will be, attracting that reader in. So it's reconfirmation to use it like that, but it's also really helpful for you to understand that the way that you've articulated something is going to attract that specific type of reader in. So I do think it is really good for that. Okay, we're going to get to the surprise in a minute, guys, if you're still here. No. Yeah, so that's good. So Amateur's saying I used AI to help me brainstorm my Substack name and write my about section to help me develop a strategy to grow it in a way that feels manageable. Yeah, so if you wanted to say to it something like, oh, I want to do this, this, and that with this within my content creation ecosystem, including Substack, like it would have enough nuance to understand and know what you would mean. And then you would have to, come on, Stella, it's all right. The dog. You would have to then get into that creative practice with yourself and understand if that worked for you. Like, I don't think blueprints are a good thing. Like, I think we need a unique creative practice that works for us, that is based on how we feel in an average week, in an average month, in an average season, taking into account the seasons. Like, I think that is what is missing in modern society and what I massively advocate for, especially in the female space. Here's Stella anyway, come to see you all for the surprise. Let me see if I can, there she is, look. Are you on? We're talking about AI on Substack. Are you bothered? She's not. She doesn't mind. She doesn't mind us talking about AI. So I'm getting to the end of my steam here with it all, guys. But I guess what I really wanted to do was make sure that, first of all, are you all okay? Like, do you feel okay? I don't want you to feel like you've done anything wrong if you're using AI. I don't want you to feel like you should be in any sort of shame if you're using AI. Lots of us are using AI. All of the business owners that I know, people that are really successful in business, use AI. That's what they do. So if you're not using AI, you're sort of missing out, because at the end of the day, if you want to have a sustainable business, you want to feel joyful in your life, you've got to take some things off your plate. So, okay, so before I go, I've got, look at this. Does anybody want a fortune cookie? Because these, when I saw them this morning in the supermarket, these reminded me of AI, because it always tells you such wonderful sparkly things about yourself. And I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll get you guys a couple of fortune cookies and see if I can read your fortune. I'm not being Mystic Meg about this. I just thought it was really fun. Because basically, everything's a gamble, isn't it? Everything's a gamble in life. I'm going to be quite philosophical here. But in terms of you having a beautiful human experience, don't live in the shame cave. Don't live in fear. Like, you create how you want to create. You do what you want to do. If there's neurodivergence at play, if you've got a lot of care and responsibilities or anything else, you'll find that AI is super, super helpful. So, okay, like, who wants one of these? I'm going to read them out. They're so funny. Like, you guys are just going to have such a laugh about this. Please let me know if you want one, because no one is saying if they want one, and I want it to be specific. Just say me, please, and I'll do one for you before I finish. You can all have one. I've got a whole box full of them. Anybody want one? Fortune cookie? Yes, Louise wants one. Right, here we go, Louise. I think it's a good one. Okay, right. I'm not going to eat the fortune cookies. That'd be like so dry. I would run out of speech. Okay, and we'll not give them to Stella either because I don't think they'll be good for her. Right, Louise's fortune cookie is you are getting the attention of those who have something to say. You could also have it in German if you like. My husband got one this morning, like, you are going to reach your goals, go for it. That was his this morning. Right, who else wants one? Danusa wants one, Anita wants one, Carrie wants one, Verity does, Sophie does. Okay, let's do Sophie's next. I'll keep it in order. This one's a toughie. There we go. Oh, I will give these to the kids when they get back. I'll save a couple of them, but I did want to just see what happened. And this is the randomness of life, isn't it? Okay, so the next one, Sophie, oh, you are very disciplined and have earned a big praise. You've earned a big praise. It's so nice. It's so nice. It reminds me of my husband's friend. They were in the military together years ago. They've known each other since they were teenagers, and he has stayed in the military, so he's about to take early retirement and stuff, but he quite often would have like a flurry with like starting a side hustle or like an online business. So he tried drop shipping. I don't even know, like it was years ago, but I don't even really know how it works. But he basically ended up with like a container full of plastic dinosaurs. And we ordered a box of these plastic dinosaurs. Like he gave us the link where we could order the plastic dinosaurs. My son was really into dinosaurs at the time. And the box came, and the box was like all, awesome dinosaurs, different colours, all the things. But then on the box, like the main headline was imitating the true. Imitating the true. So we've never forgotten it. We talk about it all the time. It's just that breakdown in language, and this is really what it's about. So I think, how I'm saying, like, you can tell if AI has written a personal essay or someone's like churned out a Substack post or whatever. There are so many telltale signs because it's imitating the true, really. It's imitating what's human. Right, Sophie was next. Verity, this is yours. You are a positive influence. Oh, so nice. I hope you're going to write this in your journal. Write it in your journal and go about your day. Okay, Carrie, then Anita. Oh, there we go. Next one. Read the German. You can afford to say exactly what you mean. Good one. Such a good one. Now, to save the environment, we probably should, in the future, ask ChatGPT to do fortune cookies for us. But I've done this because I was really wanting to prove a point today and have fun with you guys on a Friday lunchtime. Okay, Anita, then Danusia. I think that's where I'm up to. Is in messages. Such a shame that they've got plastic wrapping, isn't it? Sorry, guys. It's not doing my inner environmentalist any good, but, we are where we are. Ooh, now this one's controversial. You better keep your plans top secret. ChatGPT wouldn't say that, you see. He would be really positive. He would say that the world's abundant and we'll all be all right. However, that's the fortune cookie, so maybe it means something. Right, I'll do Janusia, and then I better save a couple for the kids for movie night tonight. Okay. Right, Janusia. You are ready to fill your head with new ideas. I don't know if there'll be any more space in your beautiful brain for more ideas, but that's what it wants to say. You are ready to fill your head with new ideas. Oh God. Okay, guys. Well, it's been beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in and hearing me speak about ChatGPT and use with Substack, my emotions and feelings, what I've been doing with it. I hope it is a permission slip for you to do your own research. Like I said, if you're watching the replay, I will put the articles that I've mentioned underneath this so you can do some research. There's been 3 really good ones recently. And I do think, that moral compass and that sense of where we are as a human, like we don't have to be hard on ourselves. This technology exists and there is always resistance to new technology. Always, always, always. Like if you look back to like what happened when electricity was first introduced in the UK, it was wild. So, but we can still light a candle if we want to. So it's all fine. It's all nuanced. You guys have fun with it. Mind out for the environment, mind out for integrity, all of that gorgeous stuff. And I will see you over in the membership or on the next call. Take care, everyone. Bye.